What's up, ladies and gents? Took a week off, hope you don't mind, but I thought I'd come back for my power rankings for week 11. You guys like this song?
I'm waking up to action dust. I wipe my brow and I sweat my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals.
Alright. Let's get down to the dirty, nerdy, birdie. Turdy. This week's power rankings, I'm sorry to say they're very boring. After looking at my power rankings and then looking at Yahoo's, I feel kind of bad because they're very predictable. But that's how I feel, so I'm going to stick with my guns. So here we go. Starting at 10, Cass, you know it's you, baby. Hooked on Tronics, least points scored. He broke the 1,000-point mark this week. Congratulations. Good job, Cass. You're really swinging for the fences this year, my friend. Your team's still 10. I think you've heard enough about how bad they are. CJ Spiller, bust. Aaron Rodgers, hurt. Stephen Ridley, terrible. Steve Ridley's been okay the past few weeks, but he's not a second-round pick. So have fun, Cass. Start getting those tiers ready, like I've told you the past 3 weeks. Just look forward to trying to upset people. That's what it's all about right now for you. So let's move on to number 9. Number 9 goes to Llama Drama. Also in the same boat as Cass. You know, you're done. Your season's done. I hope you had a fun season, but it's over, my friend. Your team is just not there. Arian Foster was a real-time big star bust. Flacco has been okay for you, but... And Colin Kaepernick, dude, what's that up with that guy? 1 week he'll score you 30, then he'll score you 2 points the rest of the year. He has 1,600 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's just unacceptable. He does have 300 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns, which is okay, but he has a total of 10 turnovers. He hasn't been very good. Your only shining stars on your team really have been Brandon Marshall and Wes Welker. Brandon Marshall has been playing great. I think he's playing better than I thought. He's really starting to get the touchdowns too. So he's almost up to 800 yards and 8 touchdowns, which is awesome. He's one of the top 3 fantasy receivers, so that's really good news for you. I'm thinking you haven't messed with your lineup, I don't think. I'm guessing you have Dwayne Bowe back in, and you'll probably have Flacco back in, but I don't think it's going to make too much of a change to your team. They're still really bad. So, sorry about that. Hope you guys aren't getting pissed at me because I'm mocking you. Then we're going to hop up to number 8. It's going to go to Learning Computers, the man that put up 200 points against the King. Wow. It hurt, but, that's the life we live. And sometimes you get hot. Now, Learning Computers is stuck in a tricky situation. I think he's much better than the last 2, but he just hasn't been able to put up the W's. He puts up decent points. He has over 1,300 points, which is over 100 more than the 9th, and over 250 more than the 10th. If you want to look at points-wise, he should be in about the 5th ranked, but he's just had bad luck of people going off on him. He has been outscored by about 50, almost 60 points more than anyone else in the league, which is just, it's bad luck. I'm sorry, but your record is just killing you this year. I think you're actually doing better than I thought you would do so far, but you just have had bad luck. You did put up 200 points, so your points is a little bit reflecting a little bit of bump from that 1 week. But hey, points are points, so good luck to you. You still have a fighting chance, maybe. Not really. After that, we're going to hop to Lugnut. And after those bottom 3, like I said, Learning Computer, Llama, and Hooked, this is where the meat and potatoes happens. This is every single person I'm about to talk to can easily make the playoffs. Just takes a win or 2, or someone losing 1 or 2 losses. But Pat, you're going to be at the bottom of those people. 4-6, like I said, you're 1 win away from making the playoffs, so not taking real hit to your team, but they are, in my opinion, the lower of the playoff contenders. And I really just have to say this because your running backs have just been god-awful this year. Andrew Luck has been amazing. Matt Ryan has had his weeks. Vincent Jackson has been great. Your receivers have been, all three of your receivers have been great. They could find the end zone a little bit more, but that's fine. They're getting their yardage. But it's your running backs. Your running backs have 400 yards, 300 yards, and almost another 300 yards. It's just pathetic. And they're really not, it's not like they're getting, another 300 yards receiving. They're all in the hundreds in receiving. It's just not good. They're killing you. Rob Gronkowski has been a nice addition to you, but he needs to get going. And it's going to be rough for you, Pat. You need to pray that Ray Rice remembers what the running back he is. And I don't have any hope for Maurice Jones-Drew. And Le'Veon Bell, he's okay, I guess. But sorry, Pat, you are the bottom feeders of the playoff contenders. You could easily make a run, but it's going to be tough. So let's hop to number 6, Cursed. The Cursed. The man that's the most unlucky man in the league. All right. Well, this guy, he was on a winning streak. 2-game winning streak, looking good. And then the Cursed train came back in town and parked in his turds. And he put up a whopping, let me go take a look. I think 90 points to guess. I'm going to make sure I know what I'm looking at. Yep, 91 points. It ain't going to get you any wins, my friend. Sorry to say it, Tony Romo, you live and die by the guy. If he has a great week, you're going to win. If he takes a dump, you're going to lose. And then this week, he's on bye. So you're really looking in trouble. Of course, you have your Adrian Peterson and your Alfred Morris. Your two solid guys. Alfred Morris could see the end zone at least 4 more times this year and be a top player. But the guy's putting up yardages. And he's putting up decent touchdowns. So you can't complain. He has over 100 points. He's doing very good, and he's only looking better. And even with Tony Romo in there, you have Jake Cutler, which I don't know what's the deal with him. He starts, he gets benched, he gets hurt, he takes stumps. I don't know what the guy's doing. So your quarterbacks are your issue. And this week, for sure, they're your issue. You don't have Tony Romo. You have Mike Glennon. And E.J. Manuel will be your starter. You haven't put him in yet, but he will be your starter. That is god-awful. God-awful. And then you go to your dirty receivers. Harry Douglas. Don't even know who that is. Larry Fitzgerald. What is this, 2010? Hakeem Nicks. Yeah, what is this, 2010? The dude hasn't even seen the end zone. Yeah, they're all putting up decent yardage. And Larry Fitz has a few touchdowns, but he's been bad. He's been bad, very bad of late. Your Terrence Williams has been your best guy, and he's sitting on your bench. So, Josh, I'm putting you at 5 just because you're running backs. And after looking at it, I probably should have put you lower. Probably should have put you underneath Pat. Because without Jay Cutler, I don't know how long he's going to be out. Ooh, their team looks bad. So, you got to hope he comes back healthy. You got to hope Tony Romo plays great. And your 2 running backs keep up what they've been doing. And I think if that all happens, you have a chance. You're not out of it at all. That's not even close. You are 4-6. Like I said, you're 1 game away. So let's hop to number 5. This is one I was tricky with. Didn't know if I want to give him a 4 or 5 because he played great last week. But I'm gonna give him a 5 just because of the whole season in general. He has not put up very many points, and he has the least points scored against him, which are things that really help out with the W's, and that's going to be Dwayne Boner. Justin, like I said, all season you've been doing much better than I projected, but you have been very lucky. You have the least amount of points scored against you, and you have, let me calculate this, about the 4th least points scored total. So you're hanging in there, but you know what? A W is a W. The black quarterbacks have been flaky on you this year, but overall, I think they're doing their work. Robert Griffin needs to learn to run some more. He wants to do better. And Demaryius Thomas has been a monster. When I say monster, he's a monster. Your running backs have been okay. Frank Gore has his weeks. And other than that, your team is a little bit weak everywhere else, but they're decent. Like Ryan Matthews is decent. Doug Baldwin, don't even know who that is. Receiver. Anyways, you're living and dying by Demaryius Thomas, your quarterbacks, and No Sean has been way better than I thought he was going to be. And it's because he finds it in so much with Denver. That's been a great pickup by you. But I'm going to keep you at 5, Justin. You're doing good. Keep it up. You just got to pray those Blackies find their legs again, for Christ's sakes. After that, we're going to hop to Terry, Larry, Stevie V, getting his first W after starting to falter, looking like he's about to slip out of playoff contention, and he found it. This guy, Steve, you live and die by Breeze, and the guy has been a monster this year. If it wasn't for Peyton Manning's spectacular season, he'd be right there as the #1 player in the league. But he has 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. Alex Smith has even been helping you out a little bit over the worst Eli Manning. But after them, your receivers are pretty decent, and your running backs. Matt Forte is doing great this year, I feel like. Jacquizz Bell, I don't know if it's time for you to pull him. He had a great first 5 weeks, but the past few have just kind of been letting you down. You have Roy Halou that's been just snagging touchdowns left and right. So it might be time to make a move with him. I think his stardom is gone. I think Reggie Bush is healthy, and I don't think he's going to get as many touches. Jason Witten has been pretty solid, and Ruben Randall, a very solid guy, I feel like. That is a nice pickup for you. That's why your team is pretty good. You have all-around decent talent with some studs in Matt Forte and Drew Brees. And they've been really carrying you, and that's how you are 5-5. Very impressive, Steve. You needed that W very bad, and you pulled it out. So it's going to get interesting these next few weeks. Let's keep it going to number 3, the Bank. He lost last week. He lost last week, but it was to the Gotham's finest, and he is the finest right now. He's putting up points on top of points on top of points. But Tim survived. He survived. He's 6-4. He's still fighting the good fight. His quarterbacks have been doing great, and his receivers they don't. Deshaun Jackson has been just lighting it up, and Calvin Johnson has been lighting it up. Antonio Brown gets a lot of yards. Doesn't see the end zone that much, but gets a lot of yards. His receivers have 900, 800, and 900 yards, which is awesome. His receivers are great. They're all the only team that has 3 receivers in the 100-point club. So, Tim, your team is living and dying by your quarterbacks and your receivers. Trent Richardson, I think it's time to bench him. Looking at your roster, you don't have a lot of options, so no. I don't know. Darren McFadden, when he's healthy, of course, get rid of Trent Richardson. But he's been terrible. Chris Johnson has had his flashes of games. Overall, pretty decent. And then your flexes have been okay. Tonio Gates and Torrey Smith. Like I said, your team's very good. 6-4 is a great record. You're sitting in 3rd in the league and sitting in 3rd in my power rankings. And you are for sure a playoff contender. And if you can just keep your wins and losses about even, I think you're going to make the playoffs. I personally think playoff team needs can get in with about 6 losses this year, which is pretty bad considering we only play 14 weeks. So around 8 wins will get you in. All right, let's hop up to number dos. Number dos is Calrissian, the Gotham's Rogues. Like I said, he's been playing very well the past 2 weeks. He's even outplayed. Hell, man, he has played great. He put up 200 points almost, and then he put up another 130. but the guy's team is stacked, and that when you're stacked that high, you're going to have lucky. Even with his quarterback issues, in Case Keenum, he's still freaking putting up points. Tom Brady finally has decided to wake up. I don't know how long he's going to wake up for, but let's hope for a long time. AJ Green been doing great. Pierre Garçon been doing great. Victor Cruz a little bit up on the bust side, but he's been doing okay. Running backs, LaShawn, he's been stuttering a little bit the past few weeks, but he's still doing amazing. And the biggest improvement is Eddie Lacy. I feel like he's been just going off for you the past few weeks, Cal. That was a great pickup. He's just starting to get his feet under his legs, but I'm afraid of him. And then you have Reggie Bush as well, which has been doing great. You have the best, I don't know, maybe the second best tight end in the league right now with Julius Thomas, how much times he gets to the end zone. So, Cal, I love your team. I think I projected you number 1 all preseason, and you're sitting at number 2, so everything's going great for you. I think there's no way you're getting out of the playoffs unless your team just has a colossal collapse. But keep it up, Cal. I expect to see you in the Super Bowl, maybe facing myself. All right, so 1 through 9 are all done. Or sorry, 2 through 10 are all done. We're going to hop to number 1, and that's going to be myself. After coming off that big loss to Learning Computers, I bounced back with a W this week, a very needed W. Sitting at 9-1, I'm looking like I'm going to make the playoffs, and I'm really enjoying it. Right now, I'm just worried about my team's health. And when I say my team's health, I mean Peyton Manning's health. He's a little bit shaked up after that play last week, and I live and die by the guy. I will not be cocky and say that my team's that great. I just have Peyton Manning that's having the greatest quarterback season of all time. So I'm going to live and die by him, and as long as he takes me, as long as I go. I also have some great players that have been actually having kind of weak weeks. And Jimmy Graham and Des Bryant, they've been doing really great for me all season, but the past 2 weeks they haven't been really hitting their numbers, but I'm going to keep riding them. And then Marshawn Lynch, I think that was the big pickup I had this year. He's been doing great for me. And another person, Danny Woodhead, you look at him, he says, 200 yards? What the hell? Play a freaking song. He has 200 yards running. He also has 400 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. So 600 yards and 5 touchdowns, not too shabby. The guy is an all-around player. He's a solid 10 to 12 points a week, and I'm loving him. Vernon Davis has been okay. My team is pretty loaded. My weakest part is my receivers, and that's for sure. But T.Y. Hilton with Reggie Bush out has been doing better. And Des Bryant, of course, is pretty solid. Anquan Bolton is shaky at best, but we'll see how it goes. I hope Peyton Manning does good this week, but loses to the Chiefs, just because I love my fantasy football team. And I know how much hate I'm going to get for this, but I really like fantasy. So I hope the Chiefs pull out a W, but I hope Peyton gets me at least 15 to 20. There you go, boys. That is my power rankings. I'm sorry for taking that week off. Now let's hop over to my projections for week 11 matchups. I know I'm taking a little long on this one, so let me go through this one quick. First game of the week, Tit on the Nip versus Cursed. Tit on the Nip takes it over Cursed. Without Tony Romo and Cutler, I don't think there's a chance. Bank versus Learning Computer. Learning Computer is favored so far, but I'm going to give it to Bank. His team's too stacked. Here's my Gotham's Rogues versus Barry McCackana. Or no, sorry, Dwayne Boners. Sorry about that. I'm going with the upset. Boners is beating Gotham Rogues this week. Mark it down. John, mark it. Put it on the big board, because it's happening. I just talked to an imaginary person. Listen to me, boys. Gotham's gonna lose. Boners gonna take it. I got a weird feeling. I don't know why, but I have it. Alright, after that, we're gonna go Llama to Hooked. The bottom feeders. The turd versus the turd. Or more like a turd versus diarrhea. I gotta give it to Llama. Sorry, Cass. No Aaron Rodgers. No Hooked on Trials. After that, game of the week. Lugnut versus Terry Larry. In my projections, we have my 7 versus my 4. one game apart. And who do I give it to? I give it to Lugnut. Lugnut takes it. He hops back into the playoff spot. And this game is going to get interesting next week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go Chiefs. Sunday Night Football. I'll see you all there. If you guys want to come up and have a good time, come up here. Yeah. Party rockin' anthem.